Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman briefing, in fact, the media about the massive GST reform that has taken place. In fact, major sectors of daily use for the common man, where in fact tax slabs have been slashed radically, and of course a number of other areas as well where the tax slabs have been rationalized. Let's quickly open this up and take it across to our guest. Joining us, continuing with us is Sanju Verma, BJP spokesperson. We have Tushar Gupta, a political analyst, with us. We have Vijay Sardana, who's also with us, who's an analyst. Let's quickly open this up to our panelists. Nikhil Jain, coming to you first. Very significant reform. This is one reform where the finance minister significantly says has happened. All of this has been decided with a lot of unanimity, and various ministers who have contributed to this. It's a massive reform which is going to benefit the Aam Aadmi in India, any which way you look at it.
So, Madhav, so this is the funny thing. When this government brought in the GST bill in 2017, in the middle of the night, I don't know what fancy was of theirs that they had to launch it at midnight. They said it is so very historical. 8 years later, when they're implementing the very same things that the Congress party has been asking them to do, that the opposition has been asking them to do, then they call it a historical reform again. Nirmala Sitharaman is praising the fact that I've exempted life insurance from GST. Why did it take so long? The Congress party asked this in August 2024. She was mentioning how sanitary napkins does not have any GST on it. Again, they did have GST. It was only after March 2017 when a Congress MP wrote to the government asking sanitary GST to be removed on the sanitary napkins. It was removed. Now, Nirmala Sitharaman tries to confuse people when she says that 40% slab is only for tobacco products. That's not the case. That is also the case for luxury goods. So any LV bag that you get, or a Fortuner car that you get, or any expensive
good. You mentioned what a luxury good.
No, but what was the response to the question put forth by one of your colleagues that the opposition is saying that there are indeed 3 slabs but not 2 slabs? Fact of the matter is there are 3 slabs, and let me also tell your viewers very clearly, it's not just 3 slabs, it's actually many, many more slabs. If you open the CBIC website, you'll realize, I'll tell you, if you open the CBIC website, you'll realize that there is something called as a compensation cess, and a compensation cess applies to many, many products. Madhav, I sent you the list while the conference was going on.
No, but please read out the list, because I'm not able to make out anything that you have said. What is the specific compensation cess on specific products? Tell us.
I'll tell us. 1% under the existing structure, and the finance minister has not said that the compensation cess is going away.
Please read out. Open it out.
1% for LPG and 1% for LPG CNG, 3% for 350cc motorcycles, 1500 cc cars, under 4 meter diesel cars, very complicated, aircraft, water vessels, 5% for something, 12% for aerated water, aerated beverages, 15% for hybrid vehicles, 17%.
Sanju Verma, I want you to answer that question, and there are other panelists also.
It's a total of over 29 lakhs, Madhav.
Okay, there will be
4 countries in the world have more than 4 slabs.
We've understood your question, or let me respond. Comment, please. The compensation cess continues to remain, and this is going to lead to a multiplicity of slabs. He's alleging that over 24 slabs will still continue in existence and not 3, as has been stated by the government. Sanju Verma, your response.
You know, Madhav, I've grown up listening to this famous English adage, the grass on the other side is always greener. But I think when it comes to the Congress, the grass on the other side is always darker. And I'll tell you why. They always look at the glass as half empty. I've never seen them looking at the glass as half full. They're so pessimistic. You know, let's celebrate the GST rationalization. The 40% slab is limited to a very few bunch of demerit or sin goods, you know, tobacco products, basically aerated, carbonated and caffeinated drinks, and super luxury items. But, you know, like I say, the Congress party has the habit of missing the woods for the trees. To my mind, the biggest benefit to the middle class will be the fact that life insurance, health insurance, both at an individual level and family insurance, now will be 0, not 18%, not 12%, not 5%, 0%. India's insurance penetration today is a little over 4%. In the Western world, the insurance penetration is a little over 7%. And I kid you not, once this GST rate comes into effect from September 22nd, the insurance penetration in India will grow manifold. That is what I believe.
Sure.
And like I said, Rahul Gandhi had called GST Gabbar Singh tax. When we reduced the GST on sanitary napkins to 0, Rahul Gandhi said, देखा मैंने बोला था when we reduced the GST on eating out in AC restaurant to 5% from 24% service tax, Rahul Gandhi said, "Dekha maine kaha tha." Rahul Gandhi can only sit like a backbencher and say, "Dekha maine kaha tha." Karke dikhaya kisne? Narendra Modi ne.
Let's come to the point. And in fact, I want to bring in the larger question that you made on this compensation cess. Vijay Sardana, you can come in on this. Is this a valid criticism that there will continue to be in effect a multiplicity of slabs on different products? There is a different compensation cess, and there were some references to that in the press conference as well. Explain to our viewers how that will work in the time when the slabs have been rationalized to 5, 18 and 40%.
First of all, good evening to all of you. We have to look from two different aspects. See, taxation has two different purposes. First is, it should encourage or discourage certain products, and at the same time, it should also generate revenue for the government. Now, what Government of India has done with rationalization, all the consumer products which were impacting, I will say that, household income or purchasing capacity, they have reduced the slabs. It means now consumers can buy at least 5 to 10% more, because whatever, I'm just taking a pro rata, if you're reducing anything from 12 to 5, it means you have 7% extra cash by which you can do extra purchasing to meet your requirements. At the same time, it is also important for us to understand that everything should not be promoted in society. If you are having something which we call sin goods or demerit goods, that should be discouraged. Why it should be encouraged? Because it is very simple thing that there is a tobacco is not good for you. You are consuming more tobacco. It is better you should prevent consumption. That is important. Similarly, in case of alcohol, similarly in case of junk food, what is not good for society, there is no need to promote. So you can use the same taxation policy to discourage. This is the logic of taxation around the world. It means it is important that we should look from a rationalization point of view. Ideally, you can say everything should be zero, but point here is how you are going to run the country. It means it is important that whatever we have to do, it has to be logical.
Right.
Only challenge which we have to look at is in the previous GST system, which we have to read a little bit more carefully. For example, I am a processor. Now I'm talking from an industry point of view. I am a processor. For example, I am processing XYZ agro commodity. And there are main products and byproducts. Main product was supposed taxed at 5%, byproduct was taxed at 12%. That was creating problem because how much is the original main product and what is the ratio of yield, or I will say that output of byproduct, that was creating lot of problem for industry in assessment in filing GST, because suppose I say it is 50-50 or 60-40, department has a different ratio.
Right.
And then they say you are trying to avoid taxes and misquoting it.
So, Nikhil, you have to appreciate. I get your point, Mr. Sardana. I get your point. In fact, the inverted duty structure is also a very important reform. The process of filing GST also, there are a lot of changes. Nikhil Jain, the point is this. This is what opposition perhaps has been complaining about. Let's give the credit there. But when such a massive reform has come in, you have to welcome what is a good measure for not just all Indians, but also for the Indian economy.
Now, of course, Madhav, I welcome the step that the government has been forced to take after the opposition has been telling them to take it. What the government is doing by reducing slabs on daily use items from 18% to 5% or 12% to 5% is essentially driving consumption. That is going to drive consumption. And the opposition has been saying since August 2020. Rahul Gandhi has been saying that since August 2020. Consumption side measures like put money into the hands of the middle classes and the poor. That is what's going to fix the economy. Lending money to your friends, corporate tax cuts is not going to help, and I'm glad that the government is finally taking the steps.
Sanju, just coming to you, let Tushar come in. I want Tushar to respond to that particular point. I'm coming to you, Sanju Verma, in just a moment. Tushar.
No, I'm appalled by the lies Nikhil Jain is telling on national television. You had the Mudra program since 2016. You think the UPA government did not give any loans to Adani? You think the UPA government did not give loans to any corporate houses, which led to the NPA crisis? Please do not lie on national television. Let's debate in a healthy environment. Madhav, very importantly, let's talk about that one thing. GST on cars under 1200cc. Now that's gone to 18% from 28%. But there is an interesting part. There used to be a compensation cess of 22% that we used to give every time we used to purchase a car. Come November 1st, the timeline for that cess will also expire. Combine it with the income tax cut that was given in the budget earlier. Do you realize how many families in this country, from the middle class, from the lower middle class, can now actually dream about having their first car, their first hatchback? This is the first thing. Second thing, look at the rare medicines, cancer treatment drugs. Already the import duty on all of them was cut down to zero in the last two budgets. The one budget announced after the elections and the one earlier this year. Now they have reduced the GST also to almost 0%. You look at the FMCG items. If you remember, there was a survey on the monthly per capita expenditure and it showed that the rural incomes were now going towards non-food items, that people were spending more on FMCG items, and they have also been decreased from 12 or 18% to 5%. So all this is in the direction of moving towards consumption, and it's not like the government has suddenly woken up. This process has been in the works for a very long time now.
But let me come in on that. Tushar, let me come in on that. Now, while you're perhaps right that certainly all of this is going to boost consumption, I don't think there's any argument about that, and perhaps that will send our GDP growth higher as well. By what volume or what percentage, perhaps the experts can weigh in on that. But even within cars and within the two-wheelers, the very fact that you've subcategorized that into 350cc plus as well as 1200cc plus, hasn't that also further complicated the system, Tushar?
No, that is what I was mentioning, the 22% cess. Look, earlier what used to happen, you're paying 28% GST on the car, and then you're paying a 22% compensation cess. These two were additional taxes. Now that cess has gone away. That will go away on October 31st. On November 1st, that's when the timeline expires. Now you have 18% on this category of cars and vehicles, and then 40% you'll have them. So the effective rate is actually less than what it previously was. Yes, I may not agree with this, subcategorization of 1200cc and 1500cc for diesel, but the government is also looking at the consumption. What is the majority population buying? And this is where the state governments also have a say. Karnataka and Telangana, for instance, they are states with relatively higher per capita. So what kind of consumption of automobiles is there would also have been factored in along with, say, Maharashtra or Gujarat or Punjab. So it's not like they're trying to complicate the process. Effectively, tax on all the sorts of cars.
Is this something that is going to complicate the process, simplify it further?
No,
the government says it's certainly simplification, but there are many reactions coming in. I'm going to request our panelists just to hold on with us. The Prime Minister, of course, has tweeted saying that in fact, the Commerce Minister has tweeted saying that this is a historic Diwali gift for all. That's a statement coming in from Piyush Goyal. We also have responses coming in from other political parties as well. And this is, of course, a response coming in from the TMC. The TMC is rushing in to claim credit. They've tweeted, and I quote, "A victory for common people, a victory wrested from a tone-deaf regime that only listens when forced. From day one, Srimati Mamta official, that's Mamta Banerjee's handle, warned the finance minister that taxing insurance premiums was cruel anti-people and would deter families from securing their future." Let me go across to my colleague Priya, who's joining us now. Priya, I believe you have the tweet with you. Take us through.
Yes, we have here Mamta Banerjee's tweet, which you have read out, taking credit for what has happened today. And a similar credit-taking tweet has also come from Srinivas DV of the Congress party. Unki Sarkar, Hamara system sort of toolkit almost activated there, Madhav, all rushing in to take credit for these reforms. However, we have other reactions like the one coming from Alka Lamba, who says that 40% wala Gabbar Singh tax aa gaya. Remember, this was a terminology that was earlier coined by Rahul Gandhi and has often been used. So quite interesting to see how on one side the Congress party and others in the INDIA bloc are rushing to take credit for what has happened, and on the other side they are busy criticizing the new 40% tax slab. And then there is Priyanka Chaturvedi, who has said that this correction was long overdue when it comes to GST slabs which were being demanded. It has now been done. No credit taking here, no blame game here. positive response coming in from a member of the opposition.
Well, there are some opposition reactions coming in to that effect, Sanju Verma, but many of the reactions coming in, Sanju Verma, are that we told you so, that this is very high rate of taxation, Gabbar Singh tax once again being invoked by some leaders as well. Your response?
Madhav, I always say one thing. It is great to have grandiose plans. It is great to have a great vision. But finally, be it politics or economics, it boils down to whether you can translate your grand vision into seamless execution. And do you know why the Congress could not implement GST between 2004 and 2014 for 10 long years?
Because the BJP
It was
opposed
because the
it.
Congress... Can I please finish?
Okay,
Madhav, I need my time.
Yeah, one by one.
Let's
Not start bickering, please. Yeah,
Yes.
there's limited time as well.
Yeah. Can I finish? It is because Maharashtra's then Chief Minister Prithviraj Chavan, and we all know Maharashtra accounts for 30% plus of direct taxes in India, indirect taxes. Maharashtra alone accounts for 9.8% of India's GDP. He put his foot down. GST cannot be implemented, and the Congress government, including Chidambaram, Sonia Gandhi, Manmohan Singh, they completely caved in. They succumbed. Natmastak ho gaye Prithviraj Chavan ke samne. The BJP had nothing to do with it. And I say that the BJP should be applauded, including the late Arun Jaitley, for actually bringing forth a consensus between different opposition parties. And don't forget, the GST Council's composition was also a bone of contention, and we said fine.
All right. I'm going to request all our panelists to stay on with us. We're going to slip into a quick break. Lots more analysis, in fact, that we'll be having on the show. I'd like to thank all our panelists, in fact, who've been with us through the last 1.5 hours, listening in to that particular press conference and breaking it down for our viewers.